And for our last Ohio State segment for the day, and really another reason to talk about Jeremiah Smith, JJ, as the nation will come to know him, but as he's already known in Columbus, I was given some information, and I was trying to think about how to speak about this, because Ohio State went through a scrimmage, and Jeremiah Smith had another standout performance. And I'm beginning to get these really interesting questions from folks that I'm not normally fielding interesting questions from. Usually, this is the group of people that tell me, yo, RJ, calm down, or change the angle of that take to this, right? Just trying to make sure that I know what I know and I know why I know it. And I really do trust people that are on the ground that I talk to, and then my eyes for what I know and feel, so that I can do a show like this one and it be authentic, that you can take this information and use it, and that you feel not only entertained but informed, okay? One of the things that I really pride myself on is being ahead of my peers in what the sport is going to look like. Not necessarily who the national champion is going to be, although I have a vested interest in that. It's more like, this is where the sport is going. Here are the players that you need to know about, coaches you need to know about, and this is why they are able to do what they're doing and why we're talking about them the way we are right now. And lately, a lot of the conversation around Ohio State, at least nationally, has been about who the quarterback is, Will Howard's the starter, what the roster is made up of, supreme talents, and just how badly Ohio State wants to win, particularly on November 30th against Michigan and the national championship in 2024 in this period of the extended playoff. But as I have made mention multiple times, even during this show, Ohio State has the best wide receiving core in the country. All they have to do is play to their potential. Brian Hartline has recruited that, and he has developed that, and Ryan Day has let him. They have dudes. The problem with a program like Ohio State is that you don't have enough footballs to go around, okay? You are going to start Will Howard, but we all know that Julian Sayin and Devin Brown are right there. You can have Emeka Egbuka, Carnell Tate, Brandon Ennis all out in routes and still not play a guy like Jeremiah Smith to our minds, right? Or Mylan Graham. You can have Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson, and both of those guys probably not get so many touches because of what you got at wide receiver. And then defensively, JT Tuimoloau, Jack Sawyer, Tyleek Williams, Cody Simon, Sonny Styles. I can't wait to see that dude playing in the second level, and on and on. Caleb Downs. But the question I was asked was posed after this statement. JJ is him. And the question was, can a true freshman win the Biletnikoff Award? To which the answer that I gave is yes, but if you are a true freshman who is capable of winning the Biletnikoff Award, you are also a true freshman who is capable of winning the Heisman Trophy. And that is where this conversation really starts to ramp up for me and for a show like this one and for an audience like you. You know, it's, yo, dog, what do you mean there? Walk that out. Okay. We have never had a true freshman win the Heisman Trophy. And I think there are a couple of reasons for that. The first one is Heisman voters are petty. I don't agree with most of them. I don't know that most of them should even have their damn votes. And I've been very loud about this because I don't think a lot of them start watching football until conference championship weekends, if they watch football at all. Okay? It's kind of like the yahoos that always vote for Vanderbilt at SEC Media Days. It's ridiculous. Take that person's vote away. If you're not going to do this seriously and you're not going to take the sport seriously, you don't need to be voting on the most valuable player in our sport and who gets the stiff arm trophy. The other reason that this hasn't happened is people are terrified. I tell you, terrified of bestowing such an award on a underclassman. We know this because Johnny Manziel became the first redshirt freshman to win the Heisman Trophy in 2012, and it went about the way that people thought it was going to go. He was a supreme talent who flamed out in the NFL after being drafted in the first round, has become a cautionary tale, and does a podcast every now and again, and ends up with a what had happened was episode on Netflix, right? That's what I call the Untold series. It's kind of what had happened was it's a really great idea for a series, by the way, and I would do it. I'm just saying, like, that's where he ended up. And nobody in college football wants to be associated with what had happened was. They want to be associated with excellence. They want to be associated with, damn, why didn't we give Patrick Mahomes the Heisman Trophy? Because that looks good in hindsight. Even O.J. Simpson getting the Heisman Trophy does not look good in hindsight. And that's what these guys are always trying to protect against. Like, even with the Thorpe Award, the reason that character is at the top of the list is you never want to be embarrassed. You never want to be embarrassed by what a player, an adult, might do after you award them this trophy that means the world to you and the world to the folks that have a name on it and the people that pay for it and the people that are invested in it, let alone the university. You never want that. So you're giving that dude more opportunities to fail in college with this trophy around his neck. However, I tend to start with, is the dude the best player in the sport, and then work down, because we'll come to an understanding and an agreement about who needs to win it. It's one of the reasons why I love the Broyles Award, for which I do get to vote on. Every year, all three finalists could win the award and probably should win the award. It's really, really good. That is the point. The point is that your finalist list is so good that the voters can't screw it up. And even if they do screw it up, you have ways in which you can try to help this, right? There's not going to be a Broyles Award winner defensively who gives up 50 points a game. It's just not going to happen. That's never going to happen, because that's also Coach Broyles' award, and you're going to honor his memory. By the way, what the Broyles Award is doing this year for the Broyles Award finalists is basically sending them on a bowl trip to Hot Springs. And I got to tell you, I'm a little jealous. Going to be able to take their spouses and whatnot out there to the racetrack, get to meet the race horses, and do all sorts of cool things just for being finalists. But I'm digressing again. I think Jeremiah Smith is going to be able to enter that conversation if he's even half as good as what I've been told of being a Biletnikoff Award winner or a Heisman Trophy candidate. Because A, we don't have a far and away Heisman Trophy candidate frontrunner to start the season, which is helpful to a player like him who's looking to break out. And B, are they going to throw him the rock that much? And if he has a couple of 200, 300-yard receiving games, then everybody's going to get on the same page, right? That's going to be. So we need to see how often he plays and just what his production is like and how the course of the game goes over time. But I think people are going to get introduced to 4 quick, fast, and in a hurry. Then it is political. And the way I say it's political is the reason we've never had a true freshman win the Heisman Trophy is kind of ridiculous. Because when I take a look at this, I could make an argument for Trevor Lawrence winning the Heisman Trophy, or at least being a Heisman Trophy finalist in 2018. Now, the argument against that is, A, RJ, why are you trying to take away Kyler Murray's Heisman? I'm not. I'm getting there. Give me a second here. Trevor Lawrence came in midseason over top of Kelly Bryant and led that offense to a national championship. However, the best offensive player on that team was Travis Etienne, who had 1,658 yards rushing and finished in the top 10 of Heisman voting in 2018. It also had a generational defense. That 2018 defense for Clemson goes down in history as one of the 2-3 best ever. Like, it's ridiculous. All you had to do was not screw this up, and yet and still, he had to go make plays. I know this because Trevor Lawrence threw for 3,200 yards, 30 TDs, 4 INTs as a true freshman, and we couldn't even make that dude a top 10 finalist. Like, that dude didn't even get voted into the top 10 of the Heisman finalists on a year in which they go 15-0, win the national championship. The quarterback. That's wild. He finishes 7th the next year and finishes 2nd in his last year behind Devontae Smith at Alabama. And it's Devontae Smith's part of this that I think lets Jeremiah Smith through the door. A, we've had Devontae Smith win the Heisman Trophy 2020. B, Marvin Harrison Jr. just won the Biletnikoff Award at Ohio State, so now everybody's got Ohio State receivers on the brain if they didn't already. And C, this dude just seems to have something that nobody else in the country has. And I realize people are going to look at this headline and subscribe to the channel, please. We're trying to get to 100,000 and make a judgment. I hope that you are listening and riding this one out, because if you have a true freshman who goes for 1,500 receiving yards with 20 TDs on 96 catches on an undefeated Ohio State team, I'm going to listen to the argument that somebody else should win it, but I'm really going to be interested in what you got to say about him. And that is what we're talking about. We're talking about that kind of talent is in Columbus right now, going through practices 1 week before we start playing football for real.